were standing there, all was smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races.
Oh, it's back through Bartes!
1962 on a summer's afternoon, we took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collinwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gunning along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fans Forum tonight. As you can see, I'm joined tonight by Sam, Chippers, and I'm joined by Brad. Hi, guys. How are you both?
All right, well, thank you.
Good, good. You, Sam, all right?
Sorry if I'm chewing a bit. I've got some rituals here, so I'm going into old man mode at the minute. Just eating some of that, you know.
Yeah, so, no worries, mate.
I'm chewing on a bit like sugar at the minute, so.
So yeah, guys, if you like what you see, hit them like buttons. If you haven't subscribed, then hit that subscribe button as well. And if you want to become a member, it's 99p per month, and there will be another prize draw coming up soon. And if you want to super chat, hit the $sign and give what you want to the channel. So tonight, yeah, it's Fans Forum. The link's at the top of the chat there. So if you want to join in and come on, have your say on all things Newcastle United or anything else, then please come on and join us. So first of all, we're going to talk a few topics tonight. But first of all, I'm going to bring a new feature to the show. And this is going to be a surprise for John because he doesn't know. So, yeah. And I think John will like this because actually there's quite a lot of these every week. So I think we should bring this to the show, and I'll just get it on screen. Just bear with me, boys. And there we go. It's on screen now. I think we should have a cock of the week because there's plenty of them every week. There is plenty of these on. So I think we should have a cock of the week once a week and do it on the Fans Forum.
I've got a nomination straight away.
I've already got my cock of the week sorted out this week.
Oh,
that award for cock of the week goes to Simon Jordan of TalkSport. Now, this fella said Newcastle fans can't spell after the banner we put up last week. I'm sorry, Simon. But Newcastle fans can spell, and we can spell all right as well. So cock of the week has to go to him, and I'll tell you why. Because of this. TalkSport. So they were talking to Dan Byrne the other day, and he talks about Newcastle fans not being able to spell, or Geordie's not being able to spell. Well, TalkSport can't spell either. Dan's Newcastle Junry so far. What's a Junry? I've never heard of a Junry. I've heard of a journey, but not a Junry. So, Simon Jordan, you've got egg on your face, mate. So, as far as I'm concerned, you're cock of the week this week. But I'd like to hear who Sam's cock of the week is.
Mr. Sinclair for being on a Man U stream right now instead of being on his own channel. Have that.
He's doing a match preview for Sunday with Macy.
He'd be sitting there creaming himself going, ooh, talk about Man United for now instead Newcastle. Oh.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, isn't he? Right, let's get through some comments. Leslie, evening all. Evening to you as well, Leslie. I hope you're having a good day. Hope you enjoy the show. Andrew, evening all. Evening to you as well, Andrew. Gary's in the chat. Good evening, lads. Good evening, Gary. Hope you're well, mate. Mason, having problems getting on. Hope it goes well. Hope so, Mason. And if you do get on, mate, try and get on if you can. But understand, I think you said you're at football tonight. Jag, how is everyone? I'm fine. Everybody's fine, you know. As I say, the links in the chat if you want to come on and have your say. Luke, evening all. Good evening to you as well, Luke. Dean, good morning. Yeah, Dean's on the other side of the world. So good morning to you, Dean. Well, good evening from the UK. And Andrew's in the house. Mr. Strictly Come Dancing. Evening all. You know, I wonder if he watches a masked dancer as well, because if you watch Strictly, you can't watch that. Gareth in the house. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Gareth. Hope you're well as well, mate. Jack, haha, you said cock. Sorry, childish, but hey, who wouldn't believe I'm 35? Well, yeah, but had to say that. Mason, knew John was a Man U fan. Oh dear, Mason. Nice one. So I hope he's enjoying it. So yeah, first talking point we're going to have tonight is, now there's a lot of rumours going around about the renaming of the stadium. Now the owners have actually said they want to sit down with the fans and speak to the fans about the naming rights of the stadium. Now, if I give my opinion on this, and then I'll come to you guys as well for your opinions, I think, to be honest with you, the naming rights, it's a good idea because, one, it generates money for the club. But what we've got to remember is it's totally different from the Mike Ashley era, when he went out and decided to name it Sports Direct Arena and didn't bother consulting the fans. And technically, there's no money coming in the club from it anyway. And when he sold the rights, I think it was to Wonga or somebody, they changed it and said, well, we'll call it St. James's Park. But these owners are totally different. So I technically would say I'm all for it, depending we do it in the right way. But I think it's a good idea. And I think reading between the lines, they want to, whoever comes in, so say for instance, it's a Ramco, they want to keep it as a Ramco at St. James's Park. Now, I ain't got a problem with that. But when a lot of us go to the ground, to the match, we don't often see we're going to St. James's Park. We'll just see, oh, we're going to the match, we're at the ground, you know. So we don't tend to say St. James's Park as much. But it'll be nice to keep that name in there, you know, and then, but even if we've got someone like a Ramco, say if that's bringing in, 30 million a year, that goes towards a player. So I'm happy with that sort of thing. You know, and the fact they want to discuss it with the fans just shows you how much in tune these owners actually are with the fans. Whereas I say with past owner, he didn't care about us. He couldn't care less what we were doing. But these owners, I think, have got it right. They want to communicate with us. They do it on social media. And now they want to communicate over the stadium rights. So I'll come round the table now. I'll come to you, Sam. What's your thoughts on that?
The key thing is the communication part, because they want to sit down and speak to us before even thinking about doing it. They're not just going to do it. So they've come out and said if more people vote in favour or against it than for it, then they're not even going to consider it. So that's what that's the first thing people need to realise. Too many people today have been judging straight away, saying it's bad for this, it's bad for that. If you want to hear more about it, go to that meeting that they're going to have with us. Listen to what they've got to say before judging it, because that's the only way you're going to find out more about what they want to do with this club. Personally, I think it's a good idea for now, considering the crap that Mike Ashley put us through and how far behind we are financially with other clubs. If you look at even clubs like, say, Leicester and Brighton and teams like that, who we want to obviously jump ahead of, their training facilities and things like that. I know ours is going to get sorted, but theirs is 10 times better than what ours is. It's things like that will help. Like, if it brings in, say, 60, 70 million pound per year or per quarterly year or whatever, then great, because that's a player. There's a signing for it. There's one signing in the window, you know. I know they've got loads of money and things like that, but it helps with FFP as well. It means that it's other, like, that's all about for now. If we didn't have FFP, I think more people would probably say, listen, don't worry about it, and they probably wouldn't even consider like changing naming rights. But because FFP's been brought in, of course you will consider it, because it's another way of trying to get money into the club where you can spend it. So I'm for it, because I'd still call St James's Park. Like, that's something that you won't change. Like I said, if it helps bring investment to the club, which it will, the money is going back into the club, which is the crucial thing. It's not going into their pockets; it's going into the club. That, you know, and it helps possibly with facilities, upgrading stadium facilities, upgrading, you know, players on the pitch, upgrading training facilities. And if it helps us improve again to the next level, then I'm all for it. I don't see why people should be against improving the club in general.
Yeah, I have to agree, Sam. I mean, you're totally right. I mean, you know, like I say, I think majority of us are all for it. There is some of our fan base out there who are saying, "Oh no, we can't have the stadium change name and all this." And you know, I mean, you look at Arsenal; their stadium rights is like 30 million a year now. I don't know if that's combined with their shirt sponsor as well. But you know, if you've got a stadium that you can name for like 30 million a year, and then say, for instance, the East Stand, say you name that after, I don't know, say Saudi Airlines or whatever, and that brought another 20 million in a season, there's 50 million pound a season straight away, which guarantees you're a player. So, you know, like Sam said, so at the end of the day, it's not a bad thing, you know. I'll quickly go through some comments and I'll come to Brad. Good evening, Tom. He says, I hate all them shows, Strictly Masked Singer, Dancer, Voice. Yeah, me too, Tom. Totally agree, mate. Trolls, good evening to you. Evening all, says Trolls. Trolls says, evening, Tony Chippas and guest. It's Brad. Leslie talking to Trolls. Alan McMurdy, hope it's RA. I'm not sure what RA is. Good evening to Luke. If changing the name is something that still has St James's Park in it, that'll be ideal. But are the owners at the list of asking the fans of this time, not like the past? Yeah, they're going to ask the fans. That's what they want. They want to have a meeting with the fans. Oh, Alan says, sorry, it's Aramco, richest company. Yeah, that will be a good one, I think. I think that'll be in the pipeline somewhere along the lines. Carl, even if the name was changed, it will always be St James's Park. Yes, absolutely. We'll always call it St James's Park. It'll never change from that. But the fact they want to incorporate the name in it is even better. I Like Coffee. Hi, Tony, Sam, and Brad and all. Hi to I Like Coffee. It's not on first night for a change. Troll says, we need money so we can buy players that makes it so Botman and Bruno stays, all because of FFP, in my opinion. Yeah, it goes down the FFP route again. We need to bring that. Revenue in to keep us in with it, because at the end of the day, the club's got to generate its own finances as well. Tom says, I see it St James's a lot. Not sure how I feel, but St James's Park definitely needs to be there somewhere. That land has been known as St James's Park since 1542, 480 years. Yeah, absolutely, Tom. I think it's the fact they want to keep the name St James's Park in with any sponsorship deal, which makes it even better. It's just the fact that if it was like, if it wasn't kept in with the name, then if it was just the actual sponsor name, then I don't think a lot of fans would be happy with that, and I wouldn't be happy with that either. Right, so we'll come on to Brad now. What's your thoughts on it, Brad?
I would say it's gonna. I think the decision that'll get made, it'll be in the best interest of everybody, I think, and whatever the outcome, they're gonna get a lot of the end goal is to generate that sort of money, and we know it's going to go back into the team. So
yeah,
the thing is, this time is, yes, we lose a nostalgia being St James's Park on pit odds. Everyone's going to notice that, despite whatever name they call it. It's always going to be that to us. The name's just the name there for revenue and advertising purposes. So if that's going to bring us in upwards of maybe £50 million a year, even more than that, who knows? That's 50 million more we can put into upgrading our facilities, putting into the academy, not just straight up transfers, but it's everything that's going to build us to be a top club in the country. So yeah, personally,
Yeah.
I'm all for it, because I know that whatever happens, they're going to talk to the fans and make sure that everyone's in agreement. Well, not everybody, but the majority are going to be in agreement, and it's going to be the right decision for everyone, and everyone's going to move forward happily. So I think for me that's the way I see it at the minute. Got no problems with it, because we know we've got proper football people running the club now, and professional people in that role employed to do this sort of thing. Bringing a commercial guy as well. We've got Darren Eales, who gave us a pretty in-depth interview the other day. Dan Ashworth on the purely the football and development side of things. So we've got them people who are serious in there to do a job, and they're going to do it properly. And some of the best operators in the game. So whatever happens, it's all going to get channeled for the greater good, which is something that we've not had before. So we've just got to trust the process and know that whatever's getting the ideas to generate as maximum as possible, which gets us to the end goal of whatever they want to see as success as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I totally agree. Yeah, it's just the way the owners want to actually speak and consult the fans that makes it even better, and it's nice to have owners for a change that actually do want to consult with the fans and connect with the fans as well, because we didn't have that for 14 years, so to have that now, it's all a bit new to us still, because we're not used to it, you see. That's the thing. But it's absolutely great, and it's nice because you see our owners commenting on other tweets, if people put out something and they'll comment on it, or you'll see Jamie and Mia Dad having a bit of banter between them, and you know what, it's all great to see. So it can only get better and better. Just want to welcome a new guest in there, Paul Gallant. Hi, Paul. How are you, mate?
I'm very good. Yeah. Some interesting opinions. Yeah, I like the opinions.
So what's your thoughts on the stadium naming rights then? Where's your argument on this? Or
well, I gather that they're looking for either a name or maybe a Saudi Arabian backed company to take it over. I mean, new marketplace, very lucrative marketplace, and if it benefits St James's Park, then hey, that's a better thing. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. As long as they're keeping the name St James's Park, and I haven't got a problem with that. Anything that can bring money into the club, that's the difference. They're going to bring money into the club. It's not like our former owner who used to just take money out the club when it came into the club. So at least they're going to reinvest this money, I mean, how many times did we hear Mike Ashley saying, oh, well, we'll sell this player, but we'll reinvest it in another player? And it never happened. So, but these owners won't do that. They're totally different altogether.
Yeah, I mean, with Mike Ashley, the Andy Carroll sale of there's a helicopter waiting for you to take you somewhere. And then, 35 million stashed in his back pocket. And you're thinking, where's the new player compared to what we've got now? It's night and day, and because of those in the background, I'm expecting real good things for St James's Park and Newcastle upon Tyne. And
yeah,
right, I've got you on one of my videos, because every time I walk from the Strawberry towards St James's, to the corner. You're normally
Yeah.
there or thereabouts. So, like I
Yeah.
say, I've got you on video anyway.
But yeah, no, it can only be a good thing. And, I just thought it was important to bring it up because, just to get everybody's thoughts. It'd be nice to get the thoughts of people in the chat. So I'll go to some comments now anyway. Tom says, I do think it's excellent that the club want to speak with fans over the issue. Yeah, absolutely, Tom. It's nice that we've actually got what I call proper owners now, and it's absolutely, it's lovely to see now. Trolls, read that upgrading St James's Park is a goal, but before the owners confirm, of course. And we'll come on to that in a bit, I think, anyway. That's one of the topics we're going to bring up. Jag, where's John? Unfortunately, John's off. Well, he isn't off tonight. Well, he is off tonight, but he's on Devils United channel tonight, Macy's Man United channel, doing a match preview. So I stepped in for John today, but he's on holiday next week, so I'll be doing all the shows next week. So so that's where he is tonight. He's on a Man United show. Julie, hi Julie, hope you're fine. Leslie, from 2023, we can only spend 90% of our income, so exploring all avenues of income has to be explored. Agree with most and saying would prefer whoever at St James's Park. Yeah, absolutely, Leslie. We've got to watch the FFP, and that's why they're trying to bring sponsors in. The only problem we got to find out is that we got to get sponsors in, but not to, but we're going to be scrutinised by other clubs. When Leicester said, when they straight away voted for like this thing about the sponsorships from owners and that, and I thought, well, hang on, this is a bit of a cheek because their stadium's named after their owners, and their shirts used to have King Power on, so
Can I just put on there, Tony, as well?
Like that. Yeah.
Arsenal's called the Emirates, right? Man City's had their name changed for their stadium booth 3 times because they've had 3 different owners since they've had new stadiums. Where was the uproar when Etihad decided to call Man City Stadium the Etihad Arena?
Yeah. I think the difference with Man City, though, Sam, was because that was a stadium given to them after the Commonwealth Games, so they moved out of Main Road into there. But yeah, I see what you're saying. You never hear their fans uproaring over the stadium changing. I think they just they just look at it and say, well, it's a name, but I suppose they're used to it, you see. Trolls, a ramp court St James's Park doesn't sound so bad. No, it doesn't. I mean, whoever comes in and sponsors, and it makes you mad to think like Fun 88's our main shirt sponsor, but the sleeve sponsor, Noon, it costs more money than it does for Fun 88 being on the front of the shirts. But that's all going to change next season anyway. Alan says, yes, incorporate St James's Park into the final name. That can't go. Okay. Can go. For me, St James's Park is what we know. He supports Wigan, and we have the same situation. There might be a way that St James's Park can be in the name. Yeah, I think, Jag, the owners want St James's Park in the actual name, and that's what they're looking to do anyway. But that's a good thing if they do. I see what you mean about Wigan, because you had it used to be the DW Stadium, didn't it? When you had Dave Whelan there. So, because I've been there 3 times when Newcastle have played, and we've lost every time that we've been there. And it was always Ryan Taylor scoring before he joined us. But yeah, I know what you mean by the name change and that. Dave, hi Dave. £35 million, and we ended up with Chef Kikuchi. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not a great signing, that was it. But them days are gone now, thank God. The Clone Lad's on. Hi there. If it is ex at St James's Park, I don't have an issue. Helps with financial fair play, and could be a £50 million signing every season, unlike when Ashley Potter did everything. Yes, absolutely, Clone Lad, absolutely. And then Jag again. Please, no United channel. No, there's no Man United channel on here, that's for sure. It's not allowed. Leslie's talking to Leslie. Dave, hi to Dave again. Half cities fans won't know what Main Road is. Yeah, probably not know, because probably a lot of these fans coming after their takeover. Tom Lynch, Blackguard at St James. Yeah, that would be good, Tom, wouldn't it? Yeah. Depends how much the Blackguard I want to put up, though. That would sound really good. Hey, Foxy's in the house. Would have been a different story for Man City if they were renaming Main Road. They'd be fuming. The difference is that Etihad Stadium had no history with the city. Yeah, exactly, because it got given to them by the after the Commonwealth Games. And Jack says Ryan Taylor loved him. Yeah, Ryan Taylor over the wall. Well, Kieran Trippier's got that title now, hasn't he? And finally, Leslie says new version of FFP comes in. Yeah, okay, you mentioned that before. So I think so I'll just go around as a quick yes/no question. So would you have a problem with the stadium being renamed, Sam?
No, because I know where the money's going to go this time.
Yeah. And Brad?
No, not from me. Same as Sam. We know the money's going to be invested properly. So, and the names, the name's not going to be in bad taste. It's going to either involve you would have thought include St James's Park as part of it, just to keep that tradition there. So, I think it would be a win-win for everybody. I've no doubt about that.
Yeah. And Paul, what about you?
At St James's Park in the title, and as long as it's bringing in good money and that money's spent like on facilities, etc., then like I said to another channel just half an hour ago, I'm sending him a tweet on Twitter. John something or other. He does NUFC matters. And
all right.
Like I say, with what's coming, as long as it's at St James's Park, because it's stamped into our hearts, we're branded as Geordies.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't got a problem with that either. If it's on St James's Park, then yeah, that's absolutely fine. Another couple of comments. Andy J, the Saudi Airways at St James's Park Stadium, something like that would be fine. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And Carl talking to Leslie. So we'll go on to our next topic anyway. Right. So lately I've seen rumours going around, and I only say the rumours because I don't know how true things are, but there's been a lot of rumours going around about the left back situation. Now, Matt Targett hasn't played a lot. Dan Byrne's been stepping in from. I'm hoping he's back for Sunday, if I'm honest, because I think for pace-wise against Anthony, he would be the better defender to have than Dan Byrne. That's no disrespect to Dan Byrne, by the way. But I've seen some rumours going around that apparently we were trying to get, obviously, Renan Lodi, which was quite well publicised back in the summer, and we didn't pull it off because it was how much Atletico Madrid wanted from him. So the rumours going around are that apparently we're linked with Ben Chilwell from Chelsea for £26 million. And a lot of people are saying that Eddie Howe doesn't really favour Matty Targett. Now, when Matty Targett come in January, I thought that was a good signing because he was giving me at least 7 out of 10 every game. And Matty Targett is not a bad player. He's, you got to remember he was Villa's player of the year, and then he got dumped for Luca Dean, who, to be honest with you, looks nowhere as good as what Matty Targett is. I'm sorry. But some fans are saying that I've seen around that they're saying, well, Matt Targett isn't like Eddie Howe's favourite, and Eddie Howe wants his full-backs more pushing. He wants a more attacking full-back like he's got with Kieran Trippier. And like I say, they're saying there's a rumour that Ben Chilwell's being looked at as well. How true that is, I do not know. But I think that guy's injury-prone anyway. So if he's in the saying with the running Lodi deal breaking down and not going for him, that's why we all of a sudden signed Matt Target and just kept him there. To be honest, I'm not sure how true these rumours are. As I say, I stress they're only rumours because I don't want to say, oh yeah, that's true, and it doesn't happen. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are. I'll go around the table. And Sam, what do you think of these rumours about Matt Target? Do you think there's something going on between him and Eddie Howe? Do you think Eddie Howe's leaving him out on purpose? Does he not have no trust in Matt Target, or what is it? Do you know?
I just think personally it's because we're winning games of football and we're not playing badly. I just think it's that. It's a case of we've lost one game in 9 all season, and he's found it hard to get back in the side because we've played so well defensively. You look at, apart from the 3 goals we conceded against Man City, we're only averaging really conceding 1 goal a game. Yeah, we conceded 2 against Liverpool, but defensively we've looked really good with that. I mean, I know Burn wasn't at his best on Saturday, but we still won 5-1. So that shows that, and the only goal we conceded was a penalty. Yeah, you could say fortunate, and I think it was fortunate that it was given because, it wasn't deliberate handball. And I just think at the end of the day, I think it's good to have options rather than just one player who, if say one of them's injured, you've got no replacement. Where obviously the thing with Target is he got injured after the Forest game, didn't he? And Burn went to left back against Brighton, and Botman came in, and ever since then, Botman's just been outstanding. So you can't take Botman out the side and put Burn centre back. You can't take Shaw out the side and put Burn at that side because he's been good. So at the moment, Target's the one that was injured. So I think it's a case of, it's what you call it. I think it's just a case of he's had his injury and he hasn't got back in the team because the team's playing well. I mean, it might be a case of I agree. I think you'll bring him back in on Sunday, sorry, for his pace angle. Unless, of course, Anthony pulls a hamstring the night or something or gets injured tonight, then, again, it's another sort of headache, But I think he'll be back in on Sunday. And I just think it's, like I said, it's down to the fact we've been playing well and not conceding many goals at the back, where is why you can't get back on the side.
Yeah. That's it, and the old cliche is never change a winning team, and that's what Eddie Howe's doing. He's not changed. He kept the same lineup from Fulham against Brentford, and it worked. What's your thoughts on that, Brad?
But yeah, I mean, for Matty Target, I'm not sure where else would have came from really, because I just think he's been forced out of the team just because Burns hasn't had any give Howe any reason to drop him, and I think he's been a good lead on at the back. That's all. Don't think there's anything. If Target gets an opportunity, he's going to deliver and be consistent. Unfortunately, he'll be more frustrated than anyone that he's missing out just because the back 4 at the minute is just that solid. You can't get a look in, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with the same back 4 against United. To be fair, because although I agree in the sense that Target would probably be a better option at left back, I just can't see him changing the team. That's just the way it's been in the past. If you can get in that team and deliver, then how's rewarding them players with the loyalty of saying, well, shows you can keep that position, and shows and it just builds that competition, and players don't want to lose the spot. Which is a good thing, but obviously just as equally as frustrating for players like Target who are missing out. So, but I think, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, to be fair. But I personally, I don't think there's any issues with who we've got at left back. To be honest, I know we'd looked at a few options in the summer, like you mentioned, but I think in the end we seem pretty content to go with Target and have Burn and Jamal Lewis as the 3 sort of potential options for that position. So let's. I think for now we're pretty in that department. We're pretty well set out.
Yeah, I have to agree, Brad. I mean, I like Matt Target, to be honest. I've not got nothing against the lad. I think he puts a shift in. He does, he's at least a 7 out of 10 player, but he does his job, and he can cross the ball as well. We saw that against Southampton last season when he put that cross in for Dan Burn to head back for Bruno to do that audacious back heel. Past Fraser Forster. But, I still think if Target was playing regular, well, I would like to think he'd be in that England team because he deserves to be in the England team. He's probably should be ahead of Luke Shaw, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it's just one of those where you just have to wait your turn. But like I say, it was just rumours I saw the other day, and and heard a live chat and heard people chatting about it and saying, is he actually fancied by Eddie Howe? And I certainly look at it and don't think there's anything in it, to be fair, because he's got the right attitude in the dressing room as well. So, and that's the sort of characters Eddie Howe wants in the dressing room, is people with the right characters, Paul, what's your take on it?
Well, Target, I could have the wrong player here, but I'm sure there was remarks of like we were on a winning spree of 9 games with a player. I'm not sure if it's Target or Chris Wood, but at the end of the day, we're building, as we play these games where the spirit is high. That is true. Like if he can't get into the team because those on the pitch are playing excellent, and we're only losing like a goal at a time per game, isn't that good? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you look at like Sunday and you think, right, does he keep an unchanged lineup, or does he bring Joe Linton back in? Does he bring St. Maximin back in? Does he bring Target back in? And you look at it and you think, do you know what? When is the last time we've actually talked about a Newcastle team and said, do you think this player should come back in, or should he stay on the bench and wait his turn? It's been a long time since we've had that, where we've had competition for places. And as good as Joe Linton is as a midfielder, do you really take Sean Longstaff out of that team on Sunday? Because if you do, I think that's a bit unfair on the lad, because he's played well, Maybe Sean Longstaff's getting back to the way he was under Rafa Benitez. He lost 2 years of his football thanks to Mr. Cabbagehead. And, so it would be a bit unfair. It'd be the same for Jacob Murphy. I mean, he's had two okay games and he scored. Do you take him out the team against Man U to put ESM in? Now, personally, I might say yes, because put ESM up against Diego Dalot and he'll run rings around Dalot all day. ESM would, because he's fresh. But again, it's another one. Do you do that? The same with Dan Burn. Do you take him out and do you put Matt Target there? It's hard. I'm glad Eddie Howe's got that headache, because I wouldn't want that headache. I don't know how Eddie's House sleeps well at night as well, thinking, God, what team I got? I wonder if he actually does sleep well a night before a game, or he's sitting there thinking, what do I do tomorrow for the team? Who do I play? Who do I not play? So it's a nice conundrum to have. And like I say, it's a long time since we've had something like that. I'll just go into some comments. Tiger Studio says, no matter what it's called to us fans, it will always be St. James's Park. Time for the club to evolve and become a powerhouse. Absolutely, Tiger. Totally agree. And Mason, we need completion with 2 suitable left back. We need competition. That's what he says. With 2 suitable left backs, we need that competition. So if we do get Chilwell, I would be happy. Or if we get any decent player. Yeah, Chilwell's not a bad left back. I just think he gets injured a lot, Foxy says, if we had Lodi, it would be more of a concern on Sunday versus Anthony, as Lodi is defensively vulnerable. Offers a lot going forward, though. Yeah, I've seen him play for Forest, and he doesn't look absolutely great, does he? And that looks like, thank God we didn't get him. Alan Little, evening, lads. Evening to you, Alan. Hope you're well, mate. The clone lad. Target has to come into the side against Anthony. Boom will get caught out for pace. Target kept Salah quiet at Anfield. Yeah, good point. Great point, that. Yeah. it's harsh on Dan Burn to be dropped, but when there's competition for places, that's the thing. With the way our club's going now, the club's only going one way now, and that's up. And this is the thing, you've got to make these decisions, and that's why Eddie Howe gets paid millions to make them decisions. Tiger Studio, Burn needs to be dropped on Sunday for Target. Tiger Studios again. Isak and Shelby back for Sunday. I don't think Shelby's back for Sunday. He's still training at the moment. I still think he's probably about 2 or 3 weeks away, maybe. Isak, do you know what? If he was fit, I wouldn't risk him. I'll tell you why. Because we've got Everton midweek, and then then we got Spurs the week after on the Sunday. So would you want to risk him? I wouldn't want to risk him. So I would rather say no. Rest Isak on Sunday, keep him out of the squad, and bring him back, say, for the Everton game if he's fit. But I wouldn't risk it, to be honest. Not when we've got games coming up as well. Julie, I do agree. Target would be a better option than Dan Burn against Man United. Yeah, I think we're all in that same opinion about Target. Foxy, which Premier League team hasn't kept Salah quiet this season? Even the 9-0 versus Bournemouth, Salah couldn't score, so Target keeping him quiet doesn't tell us much, really. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? He just doesn't look the player this season. I mean, I know he scored 3 in 6 minutes last night for against Rangers, but they're a poor side, Rangers, compared to Liverpool.
I don't think he wants to be there.
No, I don't think he does either, because he's lost his mate Marnie. I think McMurray will do for now, but think we'll upgrade. Target, he says. Toon review. Burn isn't playing left back because he's a better left back. It's for a system that allows Trippier to do what he's done in the last 2 games. Nice to see, Alex. Yeah, spot on, mate. Yeah, you could be right on that one. Julie says, good point. Stato hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Trolls, football isn't about fair or unfair. It's about getting your best team in tough games, in my opinion. Well, I'm not going to say they're not, but I wouldn't say Man U are that tough, really. They're not the best Man United team. That match last Sunday against Everton, I don't know if anybody saw that, but, against Everton gifted Man U that win, really. Lost the ball twice in midfield, which led to the 2 goals, so it's their own fault they lost that game because they were in control. Julie, heard Isak could be on the bench on Saturday or Sunday. Don't think Eddie Howe would risk him. No, I hope he doesn't. I hope he just leaves him till Wednesday and play him against Everton. Alan says, yeah, Longstaff's been good though. Thought that he had been Bruce permanently. Still needs to do it every week. Yeah, again, he's probably getting back to his best when he was under Rafa, but it's going to take time because after 2 seasons of Bruce, then, he's lost a lot of confidence because of that. And Julie says, Salah probably doesn't want to be upstaged by the AFR, more supreme Erling Haaland in the Premier League. Salah's not going to get nowhere near the Golden Boot this year. Absolutely not. Let's go to a next one. So we're going to hit on about the stadium expansion now. It's been taught that Darren Neal says obviously they would like to stay at St James's Park, and there's talk of it being expanded. Excuse me. Somebody was saying apparently they could take the roof off the Gallagate and extend that up to 62,000 capacity. And there's still the ongoing thing about what to do with the East Stand. And it's, and they're saying like the houses around there, that they would have to have you'd have to have it like a lot of glass there so there could be natural light coming through. Now I heard one fan saying, well, nobody's got the right to natural light. But if you're going to build on the East Stand, that's the tricky one, and we know the Leazes Terraces, houses is all owned by a Saudi businessman. But the only problem is our listed buildings. So the stadium expansion's a funny one. But I'm sure PIF, Manda, the Rubens, I'm sure especially the Rubens more than anything, the Rubens will have top class archaeologists anyway working for them. And you know, they know, and planning people, and they'll know how to overcome these problems. So I'm going to take this on the table. So if there's that potential of the Gallagher roof being taken off and put to 62,000, then yeah, that's great. I mean, personally, I think if we can extend the whole stadium, we should have the stadium all the same size all the way around, and it would look even better again. What's your thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I think you either put it all the way around or you don't do it at all. I think it would look absolutely stupid. Like 3 of the 4 things looking big, and then you've just got the stand. I think it would look out of shape. But yeah, I think there'll be ways to do it, I would imagine. Like I said, though, I think if you do it 3 out of 4 sides of the ground, it looks a bit stupid. But I'm sure that there'll be ways to get it done. There always is ways now. It's a case of what to do and who you know. And I wouldn't be surprised if they knew the Saudi businessman who owns the listed buildings. It wouldn't surprise us because it's a small world, you know. Wouldn't be surprised if they know him. So who knows? Yeah, I think in future we'll have to expand though, because if we want to be, you know, the best team in the league and one of the best teams in the world, then you go 50,000 isn't enough. You need 70 to 80,000. You need sort of 80 and probably 70, 80,000 to going towards capacity. And the way we're going, we will sell that out. So, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, you know, it's nobody wants to move from St James's Park because I mean, it's, you know, there's not many grounds in the actual city centre, you know, and because I've said this before, because the ground's in the city centre, somebody was saying like move it to Gosforth, but if you move it to Gosforth, all them businesses in the city centre that rely on a match day when all the fans are coming in, not just the home fans but the away fans, then all those businesses are all of a sudden going to lose a lot of revenue on a match day. So it would be unfair moving the ground, and I don't think that they would move the ground anyway. I mean, there's been all sorts of rumours how to do it. What's your take on it, Brad?
I think that sort of it, not in particular the medium to longer term, we're probably going to explore ways we can extend the ground where it's at currently. I think any sort of a new ground will be a long time away, I would imagine. But for now, there's certainly the way with that, you know, looking at an architectural standpoint and engineering, there's certainly ways that can be explored that we can easily expand on what's there. It might look slightly different in the ways of how it can be done, but I think that's the only way for us at the moment. If we can get to 65,000, if possible, you know,
Yeah.
that's gonna get us probably at an absolute maximum until at a certain point where, for a long way down the line, looking at 80, 90,000 seater stadiums, etc. But I think, yeah, for now, I totally think they'll be looking at options. They're working on what we've got currently, but even if that doesn't happen and we stay with what we've got, then, you know, it's still a wonderful place to come and watch football, and the atmosphere is always unbelievable. So whatever happens, we don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm all for just holding on to what we've got, even if we had to keep it the way it is. I'll be happy, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to agree, because you know, we don't want to move away. Plus, like I've said before, you know, that all those businesses would lose out on a lot of revenue that they rely on a match day. That's probably their big payday, you know. So if they lost all that, it's not just like your normal shops, but it's all your food outlets, your pubs, and everything like that. You know, so if you can imagine on it, without a game, the pubs and that would be dead, wouldn't it? You know, so yeah, so we got to keep it at St James's. And before I go to Paul for his opinion, Foxy says, only change I'd make is ESM for Murphy. No, that would be harsh on Murphy, who's been solid the last 2 games. Yeah. These are the things Eddie Howe's got to think about. Mansell says, evening lads, hope you're well. Yeah, we're very well here. Thanks, Mansell. And we've got Revenger. Iwobi has been Everton's best player this season. Maybe we should poach him. No, I don't think so. Sorry. He might be good for Everton, but I don't want him in the Newcastle shirt. Thank you very much. So I think we'll pass on that one. Julie says, yeah, I think ESM will start Sunday. Alex, archaeologist, what we're taking for? No, I meant architects, Alex. Sorry, not archaeologist. I've done a John Sinclair, didn't I? I had a Sinclair moment there. God, it's catching. Tangi. Hi, Tangi. Where's John Sinclair at a Man United game? Well, he's not at a Man United game, but he's on the Man United channel, Devils United, with Macy, doing the preview show.
You know how he says he's in Turkey next week? I just think he's on holiday in Manchester for the week, isn't he? I just think he's going anyway. He just thinks Manchester's called Turkey and he's just going to stay there for a week. And
he'll take photographs in the Turkish restaurant there, so you'll say, look, I'm in Turkey.
Yeah, there's his, he'll have his Coca-Cola and a wine glass.
Then he'll nip down to Blackpool and say, look, I'm on the beach.
I'm Mr. Candy.
Mansell says, Bruno and Big Joe versus Fred and Casemiro. Who wins a midfield battle? That's going to be a great duel on Sunday. Yeah, absolutely, it will be. Tom says, I don't think it would look too bad with an extended Gallagher, but the East Stand, same size, St James's Park would then look like a bit like Celtic Park. Yeah, I see what you mean by that. EDB, talking to Tom. Stato. Revenger. Honestly, our wing backs versus our wingers is more scary matchup. Midfield is pretty evening. Toon Stato, evening all. Hi, Alex again. Alan Little, why not lower the pitch? Yeah, so that's been bandied about as well. It's also been bandied about that moving St James's Park into Leazes Park and then putting the Leazes Park at the Gallagher ends, so at least they'll still have a park. There's all sorts of different things. I'm sure the Rubens know more about building work than anybody else, so I'm sure they've got their input in there at the moment. Tanji says, we should put a roof on our stadium and trap the atmosphere. You've got to have it open, haven't you, though? I see what you mean. Revenger. Hi, Tony Stark. He will figure it out for us. Okay. And Jack says, what revenue would this create? It's only 80 million, surely. That can be generated elsewhere. I'm not sure what he's on about, unless he's on about the stadium naming. Jack says, there's a naturalism towards our stadium and people... I get they want to create a revenue, but we can make more incomes from other places. Yeah, but it's not just that, Jack. When you think how many people are trying to get match day tickets just alone, not season tickets, just the normal match day tickets, it's very hard. So if you're selling out a 52,000 seat stadium, if our stadium was 80,000, I think that would just sell out as well, if I'm honest, because things are on the up. Gary says, I think Eddie will keep a winning team. He may keep the same players. Yeah, the same 11. Yeah, he might do. Yeah, he might surprise everybody. Alan says, St James's is located is very good. All fans away 3/4 an hour after the end of the match. That's important. Being in the city centre ground. Yeah, absolutely. Got to totally agree with that. Tom says, perhaps Newcastle could buy the portable stadium being used during the World Cups, about 45,000. Use it as a temporary stadium for a couple of years until St James's is demolished and completely rebuilt. Yeah, I've spoke about this before as well, Tom. These portable stadiums, yeah. If, say, for instance, they could have took the land from the arena, which they can't now, unfortunately. They could have stuck one there and then, like you say, demolished St James's and rebuilt it from scratch. And yeah, I totally agree with that one. But I don't think there's anywhere close in the town is there, that we could actually put one of these portable stadiums. But I like the idea. Jack says, sorry, I'm behind the stream, been cooking me steak and chips, came back afterwards. Well, I hope you're enjoying your steak and chips. Sounds lovely. So, Paul, what's your thoughts on about the stadium expansion?
It will happen. What I hope will happen, like I said to the nephews on Saturday, is the Lees's end goes all the way to the Gallagher and then all the way back round again. But I'm trying to wrap my head around how many supporters we would have inside the stadium, and I haven't quite worked that one out yet. But that's
Yeah.
my dream of St James's Park, so it looks spectacular to the not just to the viewer, but when the lads are coming out of that tunnel and they look around, they go, first words are "wow."
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it
what
is.
I mean, be spectacular, wouldn't it?
It would absolutely be spectacular, yeah. Sorry, I missed a couple of comments here, but yeah, I totally agree with that. Would be lovely, wouldn't it? ADBC has just built a 300,000 seater. Fill it knee, but that each week away the lads.
We can't do that because apparently there's a law that all of the stadiums in the UK cannot be bigger than Wembley.
No, they can't. No, they're not supposed to be, are they?
So I think the most we could hope for would be overtaking Manchester United with 75,000.
Yeah. Alan says that's a good idea, Tom. And GJ says, I put benches in with safe standing and fill the Gallagher with fans that just want to stand. Yeah, I totally agree. I see where you're coming from. Angela Vasey, good evening to you. We cannot have more than 82,000 in the ground. Yeah, because just what you touched on there, Paul, with the Wembley being 90,000. And Tom says you could put it in the city stage. You could put it in on the city stadium, a park, not a stadium at the bottom of Warwick Street where Heaton and Shield Field meet. Oh yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah, 10 to 15-minute walk from town. Not ideal, but a temporary option. Yeah, that is a cracking idea. Totally like that idea. Jag says, is that the law? Never knew that, mind blown. Okay. And Tanji says all stadium before the last one was built was 36,000, so 16,000 makes it 52. So to do the other half of the stadium would raise the attendance up to 68,000. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah. Tom says City Stadium has its names as they were going to be 100,000 stadium back in the 50s. And she likes the idea of standing. Yeah, the safe standing is a great idea. So yeah, so we're going to go on to our next topic now, and we're going to talk about Bruno because we all love to talk about Bruno. Now he's done so well since he came back, since he came to the club. Sorry, back in January. You know, he got used to the pace of life of the Premier League, and now he looks natural. Looks like he's played there for years. Looks like he's played for us for years, even though it's only been since January. And he had this conversation with Real Madrid, but hence it was only a conversation. But he has nailed his colours. He says he's happy where he is, and he wants to be a legend. Yeah, so that guy wants to be a legend. Now, then the topic of this one is, should Bruno get a new improved contract? Because he's done so well so far. He's our future. You know, when he scored on Saturday, he ran and he pointed to the badge on his shirt. The guy loves the fans. He knows he's well loved. I personally think we should tie him down to a new contract. Give him a pay rise because he deserves it, I think. I know Trippier's probably our highest earner there, but I would say tie him down, put a big release clause in there, and keep him because he's priceless. And he's going nowhere anyway, and he doesn't want to go anywhere just yet because he knows it's a start of a project and he wants to be here. And when he was interviewed for his press conference back in January, he did say that when he did join the club, he was told by the owners that he's coming here to win the Champions League with us. So the owners have already sold him the project, and he knows what the project is. He's invested in it, loves the fans, loves the city, just loves everything, even loves Eddie Howe. I'll start with you again, Sam. What do you think? Should Bruno get a new improved contract?
I think he will get one, won't he? I think the way he's playing, I think it's inevitable he'll get one just for, fend off Madrid. But I don't think, I still don't think Madrid could afford him. I know, people say everyone has a price and all that, but all we have to do is just say no. We're in a position now where we don't have to sell our better players. We'll just have to sell. There's still a deadwood to clear before we even think about that. And I personally think he will get one. And it's just a matter of, I think it'll be a case of, he's still got, what was it, 5.5 years or something on his new contract, on his contract anyway. So there's still no rush at all to give him one. It's just a case of upgrading his pay. And I think he's just got to keep his head down and keep doing what he's doing, doesn't he? And keeps doing what he's doing, keep his head down, then he'll get one. Because, Real Madrid might be a big draw and everything like that, but they're not Madrid of what they used to be, because especially for me, it's not competitive. If you look at Barcelona, they're struggling. Even Madrid are struggling financially. For me, they still want to do the breakaway, don't they? They still want to do that big six thing and bugger off. So that says to me that they're struggling more financially. So, but I think you'll get a new contract, but it's just a case of he's got to keep his head down, keep going, and he'll get one. And I think there's still a hell of a lot more to come from him when we get better players as well. So,
I have to agree, Sam. I mean, he's been absolutely immense since he's joined the club. Eddie Howe was right what he did. He kept him. He kept him out the team for a little bit and just brought him on for little cameos till he got used to the pace. That's what you call man management. That's great management. Same question for you, Brad. Should Bruno get a new improved contract?
Yeah, I think when it comes to that point, I sort of feel like the way it'll be now compared to if Madrid come calling, I fear that whatever happens he's probably going to go, isn't he? And if he goes, then hold our hands up and say he's going to leave. But under any other circumstances, I think we can keep hold of him. So I think that we'll do, if we can do anything we can. If that's give him a new contract when that time arrives, then definitely. But let's just hope that all we can hope is that one offer, some offer that he can't refuse, like a Real Madrid or something like that. As long as that doesn't come in, I think we'll be absolutely fine. But it all depends where we're at as well in the grand scheme of things. Because if, say, fast forward 3 or 4 years time, and we've came on a long way or doing better than what we'd expect it to be, then it could be a different conversation. And he might want to stay, but it's probably hard to. It's impossible to predict at this stage. But he's genuinely, he's one of them people who's, as Eddie said, he's a delight to work with. Seems like a great guy on and off the field, unbelievable talent, and he's the absolute key to what we want to play like. And someone who's going to take someone, if we need to go to the top, he needs to be the heartbeat of that team. So keeping him is the key to what we need to do. And as long as we're making that progress and he's happy, everyone's happy, and I think that he'll stay at the club. It's just that I fear that if he keeps going the way he's going, is he going to be one of the best players in the league in a couple of years' time? And then what happens? It's just that's the fear. But hopefully he stays with us for all his career.
Yeah, I hope.
We hope.
Yeah, I
So,
totally agree, Brad. I hope so because he's,
I just don't think. Obviously, a lot of other pundits and fans don't watch all of our games, so they're not actually watching how good he is. And you're thinking, God, if this guy keeps going the way he's going, what's he going to be like in a couple of seasons' time, 3 seasons' time? He's just going to get better and better and better, and you just think that is he destined to be at the absolute top of the game? And if he is,
yeah,
that's probably not going to be with us, unfortunately. So that's just like, let's just keep him at a level where he's going to stay at the club and not get snatched away by the best team in the world.
yeah, absolutely. I've got to agree. I mean, even if he was here a few more years and say, he achieves things with us, like say we win a cup, a Premier League or whatever, and say, we do well in the Champions League. And then if he went off to somewhere like that, Madrid, if he was about 28, 29, then we might say, yeah, okay, that's fine. He's done it. He's done everything he wants to do here. But I think deep down he knows he's got a lot of unfinished business here to do. So I don't think he will be going in a hurry anyway. And he said he wants to be a legend here. The only way you can be a legend here is if you're here for a long time. And he sounds like he wants to be here for a long time. I'll ask you this one, Paul. I know you've got to shoot off, mate. But what's your thoughts on the Bruno?
Well, with Bruno, I think he's earned respect from the fans and the club, and I think he'll get an improved offer. I hope he stays for about 10 years so he can join other players who have gone on to become legend. And then it's not a case of what he does on the pitch. It'll just be word of mouth. That was the guy. And I hope the same with the club as well. I mean, Miggy, he's playing phenomenally. And others too.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to agree. And I just hope he does become he will. I'm sure he will become a legend. And he's a fantastic player, Bruno. And we look forward to many more years with Bruno. You see, so
Thanks for having me on.
go. Not a problem, Paul. Anytime, mate. Come on again, and have a great evening, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll go to some more comments, but I thought that was a. So Mansell says, just to build a stadium with 91,999 seats, job done. Yeah, and then you're not bigger than Wembley. Angela, I remember in the 70s when I was there standing. Yeah, the standing's all changed, hasn't it? Julie, let's talk about Bruno. Yeah, absolutely. Mansell says, yes, make him our top earner now, £250 million buyout clause.
No buyout clauses.
No. Bruno is a special one, just hoping other teams don't try and kick him off the pitch. I think Bruno's too clever for that, to be fair. We're going to see on Sunday who's got the best Bruno, and it ain't the one in red, that's for sure. Alan McMurtry, he's the conductor. Stats were amazing when we signed him. Yeah, I mean, when we signed him, he played more of a defensive line midfielder rather than more forward because of Lucas Paqueta. But Eddie Howe has obviously seen it in training. And what Eddie Howe's done is he said, right, okay, I'm going to move him forward and see what he can bring to the team. I've got another guest here, and let's add him in. And good evening to Ryan. How are you, mate?
A long time no see, guys. I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. Where you been eating?
I've just been busy, and whenever there's shows on for you guys that you do, I'm always like out and about. I'm not at home usually, but I got home just in time almost to have some kind of say.
Yeah, John's on the Reds channel tonight, by the way. Yeah, he's doing the match preview.
What channel is he on? Because I might watch later on the replay.
Devils Devils United.
Oh, with Maisie. Okay.
Yeah, Maisie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just come back to you in a minute, Ryan, with these comments we've got chat.
Yeah.
I Like Coffee says, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yep, thank you very much. Jack says, depends on how he feels. Maybe he can be a company like he was for City. So maybe he can be our Vincent company. Well, that's what we were saying about Botman as well, aren't we? So, yeah, I'd love to have Bruno here for a long, long time, be absolutely fantastic, that. Remember, Bruno Chell will be born here soon. Yeah, but it'll be a Geordie, won't it? Because it'll be born Newcastle. Yeah. I think Christian says, I think Bruno will be sold in a couple of windows, especially if he continues his fine form. His stats are phenomenal. We don't need to sell,
no.
but a player doesn't get their head turned by Madrid. I don't agree with that.
He's my manager at work. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about, man. Don't listen to him. Yeah. He's just asking for that. No.
Yeah, we're not going to go fishing, no. But I don't think that'll happen. I don't think he'll go anywhere anyway. Not anytime soon, that's for sure. He's here for the long term. Yeah. So Ryan, well, if you missed this, obviously you missed the start of the show, but we first spoke about the stadium naming rights. So the owners are looking at speaking to the fans about this and saying what would they like about the stadium, and the stadium naming rights being like, so if it was a Ramco, for instance, it would be a Ramco at St James's Park. Now, I haven't got a problem with that. If that's bringing £30 million a year in, then I haven't got a problem with that. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think like football fans are all historians and like all traditionalists too. So I think the last thing we want to do is try to rename something historical and monumental and special to fans that knew the club and the stadium as St. James's. I think you got to keep the name because it just represents like, I don't know, like the iconacy, if that's even a word. Like it's iconic to just keep a historical name rather than like these modern day names, modern day badges, like something like a sponsor before or after St. James's Park, I think fits really well. But if it completely changes the name, like I don't think I'd like that, and I feel like majority of fans wouldn't like that either.
Yeah, the owners have said that they want to keep the name St James's Park in any name change. So, like to say, if it's a Ramco, it'll be a Ramco at St James's Park, so that St James's Park will always be there. It's just they just want to add a name in front of it, just so that it's that it's bringing in revenue. Now, I haven't got a problem with that whatsoever. I think if that's the case, then great. And plus, when you think about it as well, it's better from the days when Mike Ashley done it and decided to change it to Sports Direct Arena and didn't even inform the fans, just done it regardless, but didn't bring any money in the club. And he got a lot of stick for that. But at least these owners are doing it the correct way. They want to consult with the fans. That's the most important. And if the fans don't want it, the owners won't do it.
I like the fact that there's like an actual like real life fan forums. I think that like I think Darren Eales is like hosting and he's consulting fans about this, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
it's good to see. But even if they rename St. James's Park, I think people would still refer to it as St. James's Park. Like it's like Tottenham's new stadium. Like I think people still call it White Hart Lane because there's history and like it means something to the fans to call it something that, rather than just like these it's like American football stadiums or hockey arenas too. Like they're all just random like sponsor names and like there's no iconacy to it. Like again, if that's even a word, and there's no traditionalism almost in them. And I think something like St. James's Park, like just park and then you affiliate with football, it feels vintage, it feels old, and it feels iconic too. And even the badge too, like I love the badge right now, like the shield, the black and white shield, the seahorses. I think that's amazing. Like that's something I
Yeah.
also don't want to change. Like if I think it's something similar happened with Leeds a few years ago. I think when they're in the championship, like there's some they redesigned their badge with like some guy with like his arm like this, and like the fans were like, no, we don't want something modern like this. We want something old school and traditional. I think
Yeah.
with those two things, you have to keep it like historical almost, because it'll also mean something to the older fans too. Like they've seen it all.
Yeah. I mean, I remember through the 80s how bad it was, obviously all yous are too young to remember that, but I remember through the 80s when, we had the likes of Stan Seymour and Gordon McKeague in charge, and the club was awful. We were a selling club. We got rid of Gaza, we got rid of Waddle, we got rid of Beardsley, and then obviously John Hall come in and the club changed for the better when John Hall come in with his Magpie group, and because we were going nowhere as a club, but when John Hall come in, he totally transformed it, and he got as far as he could do, and then obviously sold it to the wrong guy, unfortunately, but yeah, but anything like this with a name change, I haven't got a problem with that. If, like I say, as long as the St James's is in on it, and I'll just go through these couple of comments. Gary says, "I hope John's not doing a watch along with me, is he, lol?" Oh yeah, because they're playing tonight, aren't they?
I see
Bournemouth
Dubravka's on the
TV
bench
evening.
again.
Is he?
Dubravka's on the bench again. Yeah.
You won't be on Sunday though.
No, you'd be Stuart. You'd be Stuart, or you'd be.
Angela, it'll always be St James's ground, like the old stand, new stand, Leazes and Gallagher. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even though it's a Sir John Hall stand, we're still called the Leazes End. Alan says St James's Park, St James or Ramco, or Ramco St James's sounds okay. I'm not saying it's a Ramco. I was just saying that as an example. It could be anybody, we don't know who it is. And Angela, again, I remember the 70s first year I started going, we won a trophy, the Fairs Cup. Wow. Yeah, that was before I was born, unfortunately. So, yeah.
You know what, too, Tony? Imagine, like, instead of a name, like, within before or after St. James's Park, I think, like, maybe the logo, like, where Sir Bobby is, like the St. James's like metal engraving. I think if they put a logo of like a Ramco, for example, rather than a Ramco letters, St. James's Park, I think that could work out too. And like even on the background here too, on the east stand, they could have right beside Newcastle United just the Ramco logo too and stuff. Like I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. Or get the sponsor for that stand as well, for the East Stand. Because that's all we call it, the East Stand. We don't have we've got the Gallagher end, we've got the Leeds end, and we've got the Milburn stand, but we haven't actually got anything for the East Stand. So yeah, I could have a sponsor there. So if you've got the 30 million for your sponsor for your stadium and then 20 million for a stand, there's 50 million. It all adds up in money. The other topic we had was there was rumours about the left back saying, it was Matt Targett just brought in because one, we didn't go for Lodi at the end because he cost the amount of money they wanted for him, and we couldn't find any other suitable left backs. And because Chilwell's being linked with us, people are saying is Eddie Howe looking to a new left back because he doesn't feel comfortable or confident with Matt Targett. What's your thoughts on that?
Look, I think he was solid during the loan, but I feel like there has been a bit of drop off because I feel like he probably doesn't view Jamal Lewis as competition at all, and like I guess all of a sudden Dan Burns like come in and like played well, but at the same time like he was injured for a bit of period in the first game or the first few games, so It's hard to tell. I think he definitely is a good option because if we're linked with Chilwell, I'd definitely have him over Target, but Chilwell's not going anywhere at Chelsea. Like the guy probably winning trophies. Like he moved from Leicester to Chelsea for a reason, and he's like playing top at the end football and playing regularly almost. But I think Target was the better option instead of Lodi, just because like we've already seen what he was capable of. But that's not to say for me, like I feel like I'm in the minority where like I would like to see Jamal Lewis get more of a run out because I don't think he's really had much of a chance here. I know some people will dismiss him for his goal that or for the goal we conceded against Fulham that was on him. Yeah, it was, but I feel like he hasn't really like had much match sharpness either. So I think left back definitely is a unique situation, and going forward too. Like even this Sunday, I don't really want to see Dan Burn at left back because I feel like Anthony's going to rip him apart.
Yeah, that's the consensus of a lot of us.
You look at the sorry, Tony. You look at the you look at the context to it as well. Like Burn played well against Fulham, but what threat did Fulham have after the red card? Like, I think Dan James was up against him like once or twice, not consistently a whole game. And Brentford were just poor altogether. And like, you look at it from a Brentford point of view, and like, I think Thomas Frank got it completely wrong. We just dominated the game, and he was also marking a wing back too. It's not like he had to get doubled up at all. So I feel like a manager's gonna like identify the weakness from Dan Burn playing a left back eventually, and then we'll us fans will say get Target or Lewis in. And I'm one of those there. I don't like. I know he's played well, and he's got leadership about him, a local lad, but I prefer him way more at center back. And if we take him in center back, I wouldn't have him over Bauman or Shaw right now.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I said this to John the other week. We need to play with strongest back four, and I mean, Dan Burn's been solid for us. He's done well for us. He got us through the, with what we were going through in January when he came into the club and helped us stay up. But I think he's got to. I think what he's got to realise is, Dan Burn's got to realise that he's going to have to get used to being like a bit part player at times, because that's the way the club's progressing. It's like I said earlier, you look now and you think, right, okay, so would you bring Joe Linton in for Sean Longstaff? Would you bring ASM in for Murphy? And would you bring Target in for Burn? And you think, well, it wouldn't be fair on Longstaff because he's played well. So why, but it's a nice problem to have that we've got these stronger players coming back, and there's now competition for places, and Shelby's on the way back as well. So
I'm also in the camp of also like, no disrespect with Brentford, but we're playing a better and bigger teams. So I feel like we have to make some tactical decisions. Like I want to see Joe Linton play more because he'll offer cover to our left back against Anthony, who I think is going to be a big threat for Man United. And I'd also like to see ASM because he's our most dangerous player and can win us a game in a second if he does nothing all game. So it's all about fine margins. And like, yeah, it could be unfair on Jacob Murphy as well, but I feel like that's just football too. And, other than, like I said, like Brentford and Fulham, yes, we destroyed them and like it was great, but they're also pretty poor at the same time. So I just think that like, against like an actual solid team almost, a better opposition, would you want to have Jacob Murphy play just because he's in form because of a goal and his pressing? Or would you rather have ASM, who's got already 3 goal contributions and can decide a game within a second if he wants? So
Yeah.
that's my argument towards that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I mean, personally, as much as I know it would be a shame for Murphy to lose out, but I think ESM's fresh from his injury. I would put him in on Sunday against Diego Dallo because I don't think Dallo's that great of a defender, and I think ESM will run rings around him, and he could be the weak link for Man United on Sunday.
ASM did the same thing against Man United at St. James's last year. Like, Dallo had such a hard time against him, and that's only confidence just for ASM because I'm sure every winner looks up what fullback they're going to be playing against next week or next game, whatever, and they'll probably someone like ASM would be rubbing his hands if he plays against Diego Dallo.
Yeah. So we'll go around the table now about the game on Sunday. So we got Man United on Sunday at Old Trafford. It's going to be a sellout. Our fans are going to be there in full voice and hopefully all the way through the game. I'll start with you, Brad. What do you think? Have you got a speculation on what you think the team's going to be on Sunday, and what's your prediction?
I think I'll stick with the same team. To be fair, I can't see anyone else coming in just because of the performance against Brentford. Really, I know Man United's obviously going to be a lot of tougher test, but again, I won't be surprised if he goes with the same team, and it's gonna.
Yeah.
You just don't know what team's going to turn up because if we put a lot of energy into the game and press Man United, then you could tend to get at them a bit and catch them out. But then again, they seem to be very good at they can just hit you on the counter in an instant and score out of nowhere. So especially if you make any mistakes, so we've got to be on the top of our game in that sense to try and get anything from it. But I think going into it in really good spirits and confidence, as long as we've got Bruno on the pitch, I think we can make things happen. And I'm confident we can go in there and try and get a point at the least.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, Brad. And what about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think Eddie Howe will stick with the same team. What I want, though, is I'd want ASM, Joelinton, and Target to start, so a whole new left side. They've played together the whole time. It could or may not work at all, but I think also what Brad says, like, I think if Bruno plays, we'll tick well in midfield, and arguably, like, I think our starting 11 goes toe-to-toe with Man United, to be honest. Like, we have a better midfield. If you had ASM and Wilson, even an informed Almiron, we almost got a better front three than whatever they use. Like, Sancho's been underperforming, Martial injury prone, Antony being the spark. And even their midfield, like, it's just been Eriksson I've kind of been impressed with. Like, I don't think Fernandes has been anything special this season. Let me say, I think Casemiro will be a really good addition for them, but I feel like he's just getting he's starting to walk in the Premier League before he can run kind of thing. And even their defense too, like I think Callum Wilson could have a good day against Lisandro Martinez. So I think it'll be an even game. And I watched them against Everton, and both teams were poor. It was like ping pong. Like, none of them could keep possession at all. I mean, from a neutral perspective, it's a pretty interesting game. But like, if you're one of those two fans, like, you'd probably be pulling your hair out, knowing what's going on. And
yeah,
I think we could actually get away with a win at Old Trafford because it's almost the same occurrence every year. Like, they're not the same team. We have a better squad. We're going in with high spirits. So I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 win.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's good. And what about you, Chippers?
Yeah, I we think we could pace them if we feel like we have in the past two games. I generally am not even if we get beat, I'm not worried. It's just one of these games where, now it is, I know the players will give everything, and if on the day we're good enough, we're good enough. It's but the way we started this season, I can't see why we can't go there and get 3 points. For me, apart from Anthony, they haven't really. They're awful. They're rubbish. They're not. They're having to rely on Ronaldo like last week to bail them out and get 3 points. And I'm sure you've got a player like Botman playing who will be. Who will have them in who will have him in his back pocket if he plays them. I think again, I think Target will have to come in at left back just for the pace reasons up against Anthony. Depending on is Anthony playing tonight? I'm not sure.
I think he is. I'll have a look. I'll tell you.
I think it'll depend on if he's playing
Yes,
tonight.
he is.
If he's not, yeah, he is. Well,
So
hopefully
is
he does
Fred
get injured.
Casemiro.
So hopefully they both get injured. But yeah, I think you've got to bring Target back in. The fact we've had a full week to prepare for this game, and the other one we had probably one training session before will leave us in good stead. And the fact that Isaac might be back as well, we're pretty much at full strength. I mean, you take Shelby away, that's full strength, isn't it? So that's another massive boost. And if he does have him on the bench, if it's still 0-0 or in a tight spot with 15, 20 minutes to go, you could bring him on the pace and have a go. We look like a team now that's full of pace, full of energy, and full of ones where oppositions will be looking at us thinking, I don't really want to play them at the minute. So I can say all 3 outcomes happening, but I can definitely say that if we go there and win, you can't be surprised because of the fact of how well we are playing at the minute, and the fact we're scoring goals, not really conceding many, and the fact that they're awful and they're still conceding bucket loads of goals.
I think Almiron against Malacia could be an interesting battle as well.
Yeah.
I think the fact our high press as well might just panic them because they like to play out from the back. So I would like to think that if we keep our high press up again, we'll force them into mistakes defensively and capitalise on it as well.
What scoreline are you going for, Sam?
Do you have to give the scoreline? Honest, I would love to say we'll nick a 1-0 or a 2-1 or a 3-2 or something, just like a shithouse win because the amount of times they've shithouse wins against us. I would like it to be 0-0.
Shithouse draw against us.
Yeah, I would like it to be maybe even a 0-0 to the last sort of 93rd minute. Then we'll go up the other end and Wilson scores the winner or Bruno scores the winner, and we can just literally shove it in their faces for a long time. So, and I think we're due a win down there. So I'm there for 10 years. So I think we're capable. I think this is our best chance of getting a win down there. So I can see, like I said, I can see all 3 outcomes still happening. But at the end of the day, if we do get beat, I don't want to see a meltdown on Sunday evening. I don't want to see people having a go. I don't, because that would only be 2 defeats and there's 10. So people can look at that and say, and I've looked that we've only lost, I think, 6 league games this year, the whole calendar year, which 6 league games over from since January to now. It's bloody phenomenal considering the state we were in when the takeover and everything that happened. So we just need to realise that we've got 3 games next week as well. We've got 3 games, so we can get over it straight away. We've got Everton at home on the Wednesday. Hopefully we can batter them at home. And then Spurs will be on the following Sunday. So if we do get beat or if we get cheated out of a result, we can take out on Wednesday night. We haven't got a week to wait. We've got 3 days now. We can just go at Everton, and that might be what, because I think that in a way that sort of after the Liverpool defeat, I know I had Bournemouth a couple of days later, but obviously with what happened with the Queen and everything, and I think that if we had the same atmosphere like what was like Saturday, I think we would have puzzled Bournemouth. But if buts me these, my head says a win. In fact, I'm saying we're going to win. Like I said, I want us to shithouse the win. I want us to shithouse the win, and literally, so on Sunday we can absolutely laugh our socks off at Man U again. Like I said, if any of the if we do get beat, don't panic because it's just 1 game. And if we get a draw, it's still a good result because we lost the fixture last season, so we lost the fixture 4-1 last season. So again, it's progress of not getting beat at that ground. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if it's the same team, I'll back the same team 100%. It might be the fact of keeping the same team, but bring your SM on with half an hour to go, maybe, depending what the game's like. Same with Joe Linton. I'm being a bit more braver, I think, with my predictions, because I said on Tuesday, in front of Macy, I said we'll go there and win 3-1. So because the way we are the best in the Premier League at the moment for high press and intensity. So, and as Eddie House says, intensity is our identity. So I'm going there with the belief that because we're on a roll, we've been playing so well. And let's not forget this Man U team ain't that great. I'd love Harry Maguire to start, but I think Wilson will powerhouse past Lisandro Martinez because he's tiny, and he compared to Wilson. So I'm going to say a 3-1 win, and let's hope that's what happens. I'll finally go through some comments before we wrap up. Angela says target is a better left back than Dan Burn. Can't argue with that, I suppose. But Dan Burn's done okay. He's a centre back yet. He's a centre half. Mansell says play 4-2-3-1. Pope, Tripp, Shaw, Botman, Lewis, Big Joe, Bruno, Maxi, Miggy, Isak, Wilson. We would destroy Man U. I'm not sure if Isak's fit, and I would rather keep Isak for the Everton game in midweek, if I'm honest. On Musical Magpies, unfortunately, Cristiano Ronaldo has a good record against us, but we have a good squad now. Hopefully we get a win. Yeah, but that goal was gifted on Sunday to Ronaldo because Everton were poor. Iwobi lost it in the midfield. Alan says, I feel we can win, playing with lots of confidence and no injuries. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that one. Chris says, Martinez has been great since he left the Seven Dwarfs. About Lisandro Martinez. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I would even take what Sam says. Chip was saying we'll get a shithousery win. That would be even better. That would make it even sweeter. A 93rd minute winner if it comes off Callum's backside and goes in. It'll just be shithousery, I suppose. But don't forget to like what you've seen tonight. Subscribe to the channel by hitting that subscribe button. Also, if you want to become a member, it's 99p per month, and that's under £1. And also you'll be entered into a prize draw as well. So thank you for coming on board and watching us tonight. Thank you to everybody coming on, Brad, Sam, Ryan, and Paul, who we had earlier on as well. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on, and we will be back. Well, we'll be back, I think, tomorrow with a preview show, and then on Sunday we've got a warm-up show and a match reaction show. Let's hope the reaction show's after a great victory, by the way. And
Paul, Tony, what time is it on Sunday, the reaction show? Because I'm at work till 4, so I'm not even going to see the game. I'm just going to see the result.
I'm looking at about 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30.
Which should be all right if it was to pop on for half an hour or something.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, no worries. Yeah. And let's hope we have a winning game. But yeah, thank you very much for everybody coming on, and we will bid you farewell and see you shortly. Bye bye, and I'll speak to you backstage.
Tony, I've got to shoot straight away because my back